You are listening to Inspiring Table Talks with Kalpita and Vidya. Please note, all of the content of this episode is purely intended to be educational, and we advise you to always consult with your health practitioner prior to practicing any alternate therapies.
Sisterhood, youth, and the impacts of relationships with one's culture and the initiatives which are breaking the taboo molds of society.
We have two very special women who also share a very special bond with each other. They have redefined the meaning of sisters-in-law. Both these women also wear their culture loud and proud.
Not only that, they also share a very similar lifestyle approach in terms of their holistic way of living, and we're really excited to chat to Puja and Reyna Bhikha of Garba Gangsters. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you, Kalpita. Thank you, Vidya, for having us today.
Thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity.
I begin with something, and the reason we've called the two of you together is this taboo topic of sisters-in-law cannot get along.
The relationship which is always under scrutiny, especially in Indian communities. We find most of the time that there's some sort of tension or ill feelings between sister-in-laws. So, I mean, it's something that's been there through many generations, even up until now. So people actually find women can openly support and love each other, and also welcome one another into their families with an open heart. Isn't that right, Kalpita?
That is so right. And I also feel like that is such an important aspect that you bring in with opening your heart and opening your home and opening your space. So Puja, what has your experience been like? What has this journey been like so far for you?
This journey has been amazing. You know, we always think about the series, our culture, saying that sister-in-laws don't get along, they fight, they're jealous about each other. But in my case, it's not that. Actually, it's the opposite. We get along very well. We're more like sisters, friends. We do things together, we cook together, we dance, we do Garba together, laugh, cry, and it's just an amazing relationship. I've gained a sister. Sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm so lucky. I've got 4 already, but I've gained another one. And it's just amazing. It's the bond that we share comes both ways.
But what are some of the things that you've brought in terms of adjusting? What helped you when it came to adjusting and being one of the family members? But internally, what work did it take for you to adjust and adapt?
It was, I knew the family before I got married, number one. Number two, just I think also sharing the same spiritual path and being alike, like how we say like energy attracts like energy, and it works both ways, because I had to put coming into the family, I had to say, okay, these people are my family now. So, you know, me just being open-minded, going on and accepting them as my own family.
And
being positive, being not sulky, or just having a positive attitude towards the entire family, to say that, you know, things have to work, adjustment, me bringing things on my way, learning new things, adapting, and learning and just adjusting and learning how the household works. And how the family are and adjusting to their needs, and me also bringing in my point of views and sharing point of views together to say this will work, or let's try this way, or okay, I can try it this way. We have to meet halfway.
So Reyna, Puja, like she mentioned, grew up with 4 sisters. But for you, for somebody who hasn't grown up per se with your own sister in the same household. Perhaps you've had cousins, but what is that like having an older sister now with you? And what would you say to girls who are bringing other women and other sisters in their home? What is the best way for them to open their hearts and their minds and their homes to these young and wonderful women?
Okay, so firstly, I would like to start off by saying that, as Indians or in an Indian community, we have this rich culture that sees women as Lakshmi. And when we use the term Lakshmi, then we're referring to goddess Lakshmi, and she's always seen as the goddess of wealth, the goddess of prosperity and good luck. In every home, there's when they say Lakshmi, it always refers to one is the daughter, and then the other is being the daughter-in-law, which then is the one that then comes in afterwards. But with both the daughter and daughter-in-law, we need to keep in mind that this is going to bring in a lot of good luck, wealth, prosperity. But that will only happen when we then give our daughters and our daughter-in-laws a lot of respect.
Amen.
And a lot of unconditional love. Just keeping in our mind that the deep root of our culture, and just nourishing that inner feminine energy within us, being that Lakshmi. We have to keep that alive, that Indian roots and Indian culture alive, and in that aspect, we then can, when bring into our mind that if we nourish this Lakshmi, then it's going to bring this prosperity in our lives. So another thing is that when a daughter-in-law comes into the home, then we need to keep in mind that she has gone through a lot of personal sacrifice. I mean, the sacrifice of her lifestyle, of her daily routine, of the way she was brought up. It's a lot of change and adjustment, and being a family that then gets a daughter-in-law into the home, the family itself needs to realize and understand this adjustment. And I think it's more important when there is an existing daughter in the house, that then the family realizes that this whole process is going to also happen to her one day. And I think that's more so than when you realize and you learn to then accept that, and then start to realize that it's important to have a very understanding and loving relationship. There's a lot of times, we've seen in Bollywood movies, we've seen in series, Sony series, a lot of times where there's a lot of jealousy and a lot of conflict between the sister and sister-in-law, and that then gives a very not a very nice, a very negative point of view to the society, and that's not what we want. Actually, what we want in this modern day is that loving relationship of kindness and of joy, where you can then consider not as a sister-in-law, but then rather accept her as a sister. And in my personal experience, it has been like that. I mean, I have two brothers, and that's who I grew up with. And having a sister-in-law, which I actually consider as a sister, was a amazing change in my life, because I mean, like my Bobby had said, that we cook together, we dance together, we go out together, and it's just been a very joyful experience and journey from the start. So how I would like to reach out to other girls saying who are in this similar situation is just open your heart a bit and just spread that unconditional love. I mean, it's not the same, each family does not have the same dynamics, but if you just bring in that little change and change your perspective of not seeing the woman as inferior, but rather as a person who's going to bring in prosperity and Lakshmi and accept her in that way, then everybody's going to be happy in the family.
And it's so true. Like we see a lot of this negative outplay or display in TV and in the entertainment world, and it's high time that we also change that, and we started showing that no, that's not necessarily everybody's reality. Perhaps it was people's experiences, perhaps there are homes who do experience it which you cannot run from, but at the end of the day, it's in our generation's hand to change that going forward. It's up to us. It's up to us to take forward the attitude of women supporting women.
I think what's important is to how we take this ancient element of the Lakshmi and we merge it with this modern day perspective of accepting and understanding and spreading that unconditional love.
And I think in the workplace, it's always emphasized that you should support each other and support each other in every way, but that should also be brought into your own home.
And like to add another thing as well, like just say for instance, like I think in many times where that brother sister relationship, then some people think that no, now that's not going to be the same. I mean, if there's an understanding relationship, then the sister-in-law basically gives the sister space and allows for her to confide in the brother, as she always has, because she's always seen the brother as a elderly figure and somebody that she can confide into. So that should still be there, and at the same time it should work both ways. The sisters should then give the sister-in-law space that now there's a sister-in-law, and there's a different responsibility there, and your brother now has a different responsibility as well. So she should accept that and understand that and give space for that to happen.
If more people think the way you do, you two have your relationship, things will be much easier and there'll be much more positive energy in the home.
That's why I personally would like to emphasize it, that it's so important to spread this awareness that we need to see our women as the power in society. I mean, because there's a lot of that how society has been run, where men are seen as a superiority complex. That should change, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, we need to take that power and step forward, because we need to nourish what we are there for, and we need
that
to
also
nourish
comes
that
from a sense
energy.
of awareness of being whole in who you are, because if you know who you are and you whole and you have built a solid foundation on all of your relationships, it doesn't matter who comes into their life, because each person knows where they stand and they can respect the next person's relationship that they share. So on that note, we cannot help but say you guys share a lot of common interest, from cooking to Garba. When it comes to the kitchen, what's your favorite memory?
I think one of them has to be nachos.
I agree, definitely.
And then that's true. I mean, especially even during lockdown, where we were both where we had such good family time. I mean, that was also really good kitchen time and bonding in that sort of way. I mean, the kitchen was trying out new things and enjoying that. And then
so now turning to your NPO initiative, Garba Gangsters, which is such an awesome name, by the way. So just a quick background, Garba is a form of folk dance and it's very strongly identified with Gujarati people. Can you tell us more about this initiative and how it came about?
Yes, most definitely. So Garba, as known as a dance form, is a cultural dance form rich in our Hindu and Indian heritage, as we all know. So Garba joined with my passion, because Garba has been since childhood, has been one of my really strong passions that I absolutely love. I mean, Navratri is one of my favorite festivals, which every year you look forward to those 9 days of like amazing dance, clothes, I mean just everything around that. It's something that always just makes me so happy. So I mean, Garba Gangsters was the merging of my passion and this rich Indian culture that we have, and that's how Garba Gangsters formed.
Was this also we noticed that like you guys have a very, very strong social media presence, which is growing with each and every single day. But what we liked is that you're using this platform to create and bring about change. It's not just about the fun element only, but it also brings about social topics or social challenges that we need to face, and you do it in such a graceful manner. So when it comes to your initiatives, we love all of them that you did, especially like the one with giving hope for lockdown, just earlier in lockdown, then the one with doing Garba, the Garba challenge. But one of them that we want to talk about is the one where you are trying to stop abuse, and specifically women abuse.
Yes, it's such an important topic, especially in these times, because so often again, people within Indian communities want to sweep this topic under the carpet. But you guys are really breaking stereotypes. Can you tell us more about this initiative, and also how can people get involved?
Okay. So firstly, like if we think about this, that you know, a lot of times cultural norms and activities, many of the youth find it quite boring. So like, you know, going to temple, or you know, going, I don't know, praying or going for Garba or something like that. A lot of times youth find these cultural activities and these cultural norms quite boring. So I think to just make it a little bit of like a fun, like bringing out the fun aspect, as well as something that, you know, would strike a change, or a little bit of, you know, just to get our youth involved, because I think that's what's really important. Because if you think about it, then the youth, we are the future of South Africa, and we need to take that opportunity to bring about this change and become the future in a positive direction. So taking that into our concept, I mean, to keep that spirit alive and to keep that heritage alive, Garba Gangsters have come up with a lot of initiatives to just then you know, try to like involve everybody, involve mainly the youth, so you know that we can cover a lot of aspects that our cultural, taking into consideration our cultural aspects, as well as the situation that our country has been facing. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen, and we need to be aware about it, and we need to spread awareness of it. I think like our initiatives, when our first one sparked, I mean, it was the Garba flash mob that took place last year, and that was during the month of Heritage. That was Heritage Month because it took place in September, and it was also near our Navratri celebrations. So just tying that together, I mean, it was also around that time where the femicide was a really big aspect, and what was our country was going through, and tying that in with a bit of our own heritage, we thought that something like that, just to bring out the awareness, we hosted this Garba flash mob at Melrose Arch, and we based it around, you know, empowering that female energy. So that was quite a successful event, and after that we got a lot of followers and a lot of love and a lot of support from many people around us, friends and family, and after that our Instagram page we came in place, and our Facebook page, we've got a lot of followers. It grew really nicely. I mean, even including, we have so many international followers, organizations that are similar to ours that have followed us. Some people that I heard feedback from, that South African people who have actually moved to USA are saying that, you know, they wish they could actually be part of this, and while being in USA they're still asking how can they contribute towards our initiatives, because South Africa is so close to their heart. And I mean, getting followers from like all over the world, including Canada, Australia, USA, India. So I mean, it's just been, it makes us so happy that just, you know, by starting out something small, it grew so much, and we really appreciate it and only want it to grow bigger and better. So like a few of our initiatives, like included, like you mentioned, the one that we had during lockdown, which was our gratitude challenge, as well as our video initiative that we had, which was called Heal the World. So based on one of Michael Jackson's songs, Heal the World, we had a lovely video presentation where it was also featured on SABC, on the SABC channel. So that was very, like, made us very happy, and the fact that we could actually, you know, contribute to society and just thank, you know, our frontline workers, and just add a little bit of positivity into this pandemic, which is really a crisis for our country and for the entire world, and has increased a lot of negativity and despair amongst people. I mean, people are getting very anxious during this period. So our aim to just spread a little bit of happiness and a little bit of positivity. So now, like you said, our latest initiative, which is our initiative against gender-based violence, we're focusing on that at the moment because I mean, alongside like this current COVID-19 pandemic, the spate of femicide is another pandemic that is raging in our country, and it's something that we really need to be aware of, and we need to spread that awareness. So this initiative, what we are hosting, it will be released in the month of August, which is our month of women, and it's a video where we've, as many people who wanted to take part, we put it out there that, you know, hold up a poster or a placard that just had anything that your heart speaks out that you would want to say against gender-based violence, and then we'll, you know, like just some powerful message that when we compile the video, it's going to push out that, you know, that real power of what we have, what we want to say. And I mean, hopefully we can spread this amongst, I mean, in all our social media platforms, and we hope that it would make some sort of difference in the society. I mean, whoever can just see that message being brought forth and spread it to the next person, you know, our aim is just to spread that awareness and
it's a
bring
really
about
good
that
initiative.
change.
It's very powerful.
Most definitely. Also to just add on, what we also have planned as part of our initiatives is our charity drives that will be starting soon. One of our first ones that we do want to start off with is collecting and handing out sanitary pads to the underprivileged girls in certain schools, and just so that we can, you know, assist with sanitation towards women, because I think it's also a very important aspect that like there are so many women out there that need that type of assistance, which, you know, what the little that we can do can maybe bring
what I
a
can
change.
tell you is that is not a little change, that's a huge change. And what you will come to learn, because I've done a sanitary pad initiative, is you're going to touch lives of women in more ways than just sanitation. So if you can share more details about that with us before that we can share on our pages, we'd love to share that for you and have other people join you. It's a very, very personal initiative for me. It's very close to my heart when people want to do sanitary pad distributions and work on those kind of things, because I've seen the impact of that. So Vijay has also been with me on that journey, and I can just tell you this much: you're gonna love every bit of it. Like literally, you're going to love every bit of it.
I think the more people we get to assist us and to make this possible, the better it would be. And I mean, it's even something that's very close to my heart. And if we just think about, like, you know, there's so many underprivileged girls that actually miss school for, you know, just for the sake. So I mean, I can imagine what change and difference it would bring in their lives.
For somebody to look up to. These are topics, whether it comes to sex, whether it comes to periods, whether it comes to women abuse, whether it comes to homosexuality. It's topics that across the board, irrespective of culture, people within the smaller communities don't want to address. And so when we take it out there and we speak about it, it brings out a certain amount of comfort, a certain amount of it's okay for us to talk about this, a certain amount of we can trust somebody and we can look up to somebody.
Yeah, most definitely. It gives them, I think most of them haven't probably had any information, or they just try to cope on their own. And initiatives such as yours, it's really good to make them feel comfortable and make them speak up if they need help or if they're having any personal problems.
So we will support women and their periods, period.
Yeah, I think
That's why.
Yes, all the way.
period.
Funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely if we can get like even a group of people that, you know, would be willing to just talk about this. And because like you said, that in a lot of cultures, girls feel shy to speak about these topics. And I feel like it's very important to make them feel safe, make them feel like they're in a safe space, and make them feel that it's okay to speak about these things. And once they have, like, you know, people like, you know, like yourself and like us, you know, or we can get some more people on board and try and spread the word, and, you know, give these people that you know, that safe space, then it would be so nice.
Speaking about
definitely.
periods also come with a bit of pain. It's not always a fun ride. So
Yes, that's true.
you do reflexology and you also do yoga. You're a yoga instructor. Do you want to tell us a little bit what exactly is reflexology and acupressure, and what exactly is yoga? Because it's very now it's become commercialized, but even so, tell us more about yoga and reflexology and acupressure in a nutshell.
So all three of them work together with body, mind, and soul. Working with your pressure points and just work your inner organs, and coming out for reflexology, it works. We map out the entire body on your foot, and we stimulate those organs that need to be that are blocked and that need to be opened. So like for women, for example, just stimulating those pressure points and helping them opening up. If they come to me as patients, they just feel like whatever they're keeping in, they can release it, they can talk about it, which at home they can't. And that makes them feel very like, you know, relaxed, and even they feel like a load has been lifted off their shoulders. Reflexology and yoga also help them just calm down. It's their time. It makes them feel like they do so much for other people, and this is their time to relax. work on their bodies, their emotions, and then they can tackle the world after that. And
how can assist in immunity? Do you think, would you say people can actually look into this now, considering that we would feel safer in our homes than going out to a health practitioner? Also, just to put out there, you would obviously need to consult with your health practitioner before you take steps of alternate or complementary medicine or therapy or anything of that sort. But for people who would like to begin, where can they begin? What would you say are the steps they can take while they're at home to learn about these different forms, and what are the simple practices that they can incorporate in their daily lives?
Most important is breathing, as well as just having a positive mind, and diet. We need to think about just keeping yourselves, just keeping your bodies, your mind, your soul, keeping them in sync, your energy levels, as well as just holistic health. They need to think positive, breathe. I know it's tough, just go out there in your garden, taking 5 deep breaths in and out, relaxing your bodies, and just having positive thoughts.
It's also very important to breathe and to ground yourself, because with the whole virus and people getting sick, it's very important to keep yourself grounded, because the fear can get to you, and that can also bring your immunity down.
Yeah. And when it comes to food, I think we often underestimate the power of food, but you are really what you eat. So, for example, I have an underactive thyroid, and I know for a fact that certain foods don't work for me. Like, I listen to my body, and that's a big part of it. But what are some of your favorite
your more natural raw foods, your raw vegetables? Try more like your leafy greens, your nuts, almonds. Even I know some people think that juicing can be horrible, but mix all your carrots, your apples, your oranges, all your natural vitamins, your zinc, your iron. That will boost your. Have a green juice. That would be nice with some ginger. You can, just mix it up and have like a shot.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, Reyna, turning to you now, who is also a student of homeopathy, do you want to tell us what exactly is homeopathy as a science? And how does it assist people? Because obviously reflexology and acupressure, like Puja mentioned, it doesn't only help people physically, but it helps them emotionally and mentally to cope better. So for example, if a lady has come out of something which is a very traumatic experience, where perhaps she has been in an abusive relationship or environment of some sort, and she's now healing herself, reflexology and acupressure can also help her with her mental and emotional state. But homeopathy as a science, it's not just about medication alone, it also has an impact on the two. Can you tell us more about this?
So homeopathy, if a lot of people don't know a lot about it and are not too familiar with what actually what it does, a lot of people have that misconception that homeopathy takes too long or things like that. But if I can just break down what it actually means, as in break down the actual word homeopathy. So we have homeo, which means similar, and we have pathy, which then means your disease. So now if we bring the two together, then homeopathy's science then refers to it's using substances that are very that would cause a similar reaction to a healthy person, and in that way, if that substance causes something, causes that disease or something in a healthy person, it would then heal that person with the same symptoms. Now, sometimes that can sound very confusing, but if I just explain that a little bit on an easier note, then we say that homeopathy uses the innate energy of a person, and it uses the principle of like cures like. And in doing so, you consider the person's physical, emotional, and mental symptoms, and then holistically you treat the patient. He more looks at the root cause of the disease, and what's beautiful about it is that it's individualized treatment. So if I give you an example, you have two people and they both present with stomach pain, then in a conventional treatment would be, you give the same medication to treat the stomach pain, but like something like for pain medication. But if we look at it from the homeopathy perspective, each person is going to be experiencing that stomach pain differently, and it's going to be different to how it was caused, what type of pain they're experiencing, the region of the pain, the characteristics of the pain, what makes that pain better, what makes that pain worse. So now, we take all those characteristics of the pain itself, but then we also include how is the patient feeling on an emotional level. Is the pain causing them to be distressed, or is the pain a result of them being distressed? So we have to then consider that as an emotional factor. You get then the physical factor, and in taking the general symptoms, like you said, the sleep, the vital energy of that person throughout the day, their stool and urine characteristics, their sleep, their general perspiration, every small little aspect of their general well-being, which sometimes people don't really realize that that's an important aspect to consider. But that's then what makes the treatment individualized for the person. So we will definitely not give the same remedy for both those people, because then they would definitely be having their own set of characteristics.
Really makes the medication, the homeopathy medication, different to conventional medication? Because you mentioned that people often think it takes longer when you use these sort of natural remedies. So what really makes it different if somebody is considering homeopathy and they're already into conventional medication and conventional treatment? How would you say that the two might be different, but how can they use the two to get back to their health?
So homeopathy, the medication that is used in homeopathy, it's all natural sources. So natural sources meaning we use plants, we use minerals, we use all natural sources, and it goes through various processes, and where you go through those processes, you actually taking the true qualities, the medicinal qualities of those natural sources, and then you're forming it into a remedy. Whereas if sometimes, a lot of times people confuse homeopathy and herbal medicine as well. That's quite different, because the series of processes that homeopathy remedies go through, we don't have the active ingredient left, but only the medicinal properties left of the actual source. Whereas with herbal medicine, it's more the active ingredients. Another aspect to add is that homeopathic medication do not have any side effects. It's safe to use during pregnancy and during any type of condition, and it's also safe for older people. It's also safe to use in conjunction with normal conventional medicine. Whereas sometimes herbal medicine does have certain drug interactions or contraindications. What is very nice is that there's a place for both homeopathy and conventional medicine, and our aim is to integrate the two together. And that's what I strongly believe in, is that there is a place for conventional medicine and there is a place for homeopathy, and together they can work together, and then you can reach optimum health. Where you need to, where if, like, for instance, if a surgery is definitely needed, you'd have to go for that surgery. But then homeopathy can assist with then the post healing, like the healing after the surgery, could then also maybe help prepare the person for the surgery. And if they use homeopathy after the surgery, it could then speed up recovery. It could, assist with immunity, that kind of thing. Also, then once again bringing in the individualization.
And also not taking one away from the other, which is something we often think we have to do. Like, okay, if I'm going to my doctor, can I really go to a homeopath? So Puja, if we go back to acupressure and reflex, you said it's basically your body, it's like your body's map on your foot. What are some of the most positive experiences your clients have shared with you that they've seen in their own bodies change after coming or after integrating reflexology with their current practices?
So the good news is, especially for women who are struggling to fall pregnant, reflexology helps with fertility. Most women have fallen pregnant, as well as, they see their bodies differently. They feel better, they sleep well. If I can add, one of my patients, she had trigeminal neuralgia, and she struggles to sleep, but now she's sleeping well, she's eating well, she's got a good relationship with her family, she's talking, she's through her emotional issues, she's actually recovering from that, and she's opening up more. Even with diabetes, the sugar levels have dropped. With blood pressure, the endocrine issues, nervousness. Their nervous system they feel like they can just open up. Their health is coming into control, and as well as thyroid. Their thyroid has been balanced. Their parathyroid, the whole endocrine system, digestive system have improved, as well as ulcerative
that's
colitis.
Good stories to hear, because that's obviously everybody's experience is different, and those are some of the positive stories you have had. Do you offer any classes online to people for your yoga and for your sessions in terms of your reflex and educating them? Can people reach you through an online medium?
Yes, I'm practicing reflexology from home, which is in Bruma. They can, for yoga, they can follow us on Yoga Souldiers on Instagram. Or so Yoga Souldiers is yoga, and then Souldiers is SOULDIERS, Yoga Souldiers. They can go and see our Instagram page.
Where can people reach out to contribute to Garba Gangsters and their initiatives as well?
Yes, so firstly, even if you just type in Google Garba Gangsters, you'll find all our pages. We on Instagram, we on Facebook, we on Twitter, we on YouTube. Yeah, so basically on all social media. And this is to really everybody and anyone. If you want to be part of our group, we have a WhatsApp group as well. You can just send us a message on Instagram or Facebook, and definitely I will contact you, I will get back to you, and definitely you can be part of our events, of our initiatives. We're always having fun activities, so I urge you all to be part of our initiatives, to be part of our group. It's fun things. We even share jokes, memes, fun things, activities, and I urge people to give us ideas. Maybe, there's so many people out there that have these amazing ideas that we are all willing to accept, and maybe we can, include in our initiatives that we plan. So definitely, we go out as much as to tell people that even if you are feeling anxious, or you just need somebody to talk to, then message us, and we will, if we cannot help you, then we'll definitely direct you to sources that would be able to help you. So we are there for you, and we just want to empower our youth and empower the society, and because we are the youth of the future, so we need to make that change. So contact us, and
any
we are there for
closing
you.
word?
Yes,
So in terms of in terms of our gender-based initiative, gender-based violence initiative also, I would just like to say that if there is still anybody that would like to take part, then we are more than open, and you can contact us directly. And remember that charity begins at home. So even if you must just bring about that, change your own mindset to bring about that change as well. It always just starts with you. You need to bring about that change. Then you can only then tell more people about other things and spread that awareness. So even if you think about when we were talking about this gender-based violence, that also is a big aspect if you think about where charity begins at home, where if you first improve it in your own household, where men are, or the males are under that influence of that how society is supposed to be run, and have that a bit of oppressive kind of behavior towards the woman. That dynamics within the family, within the household, that should change. So even just small changes can make a big difference. This where if we think about the household, it's not always that women get physically abused, but it's sometimes verbally abused. That verbal abuse then leads to emotion abuse, and that would then lead to mental abuse. All of those things can lead to depression, anxiety, emotions such as fear, losing the zest for life. It can also trigger autoimmune conditions. Even things like increasing your blood sugar levels, increasing high blood pressure, bringing about high blood pressure, those kind of things. And as a homeopath, I've also seen that in a lot of cases where these things are really a big thing within society, and mental health is such an important aspect that we need to consider. I think things that if we look at mental health versus physical health, then sometimes this type of abuse and things like that, where it is emotional abuse, it cannot always be proven in the court of law, and that's the very sad thing. But what it does is, because you cannot see there's no scars on the body, but where the scars is it's in the mind, where no one can see, but that's what then is actually affects the person on a mental level, where it takes upon mental strain of the person. So definitely, I think even just being a homeopath, I see a lot of these things where mental health is really important, and my aim is that I would just like to see mental health as a priority, your general well-being is as a priority, and more importantly, I think your existence is a priority. So in closing, that's all I would like to say, is that we urge people to reach out to us, or reach out to anybody you can, to your loved ones, and speak out, because you shouldn't keep anything suppressed within you, because it can always then eventually lead to physical manifestations and things like that. So we are there for you, and we empower you, and we thank you for all the love and all the support that everybody has given us, and we just want that to grow. So thank you so much.
And we'll definitely share your links and handles on Anchor and our Instagram page. But we'd like to thank both of you, Puja and Reyna. It was really good speaking to you both.
It was
Thank you so much.
Thanks for all the
Thank you.
insight and information.
Thank you, Kalpita. Thank you, Vidya. It was a very lovely session. I really enjoyed myself. And thank you so much for empowering both of us, especially, in the fact that we share such a beautiful bond, and we could actually share that with everybody else. So I think that was very special to me, and it brings a lot of happiness.
Thank you so much.
You guys are so welcome, and please continue to do the good work you're doing. Please continue to change the way society thinks through the actions you do. Thank you for listening to Inspiring Table Talks.
And remember to favorite Inspiring Table Talks on Anchor, as well as to follow us on Instagram at inspiring.tabletalks.
And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, you can email us at contactkpv108@gmail.com.